Yeah, blessing sports trackers. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've done a review, but over the weekend, something, caught my attention. As a matter of fact, it's been a while now that I have been wanting to do a review on this particular issue. I have been wanting to speak on this particular issue for quite some time now, but it was brought over the news on TVJ sometime last week, where the report came out about schools in Western Jamaica, not doing so well. And the question was asked if, the quality of athletes that are being turned out by Western schools have diminished somewhat. They're now questioning, there are some persons that are questioning the quality of the athletes that the Western schools are turning out, are putting out. So sports trackers, I just want you to listen to this voice note from a very prominent high school coach in Western Jamaica, and then we can speak some more about the issue at hand.
You're saying. I don't think we have the best of decline in the quality of performance. What is happening to the Western schools is that we are actually pushed into a corner where we are gonna have difficulty qualifying our athletes for the national championship. What is happening with the standard change in terms of the qualifying, where is a top number of athletes that actually are allowed to participate in the meet? It is a problem. What you have seen now is that for us to get qualified, look at our Western Championship. It is being held on grass surface. Almost all our meets this side, not almost all our meets in the West is on grass surface. With the grass surface, we are have to run against a system where electronic times are being used on grass track, and the times are gonna be far less impressive in order for the athlete to get into the qualifying section to run. And it's gonna be a problem for the Western schools. What you look at is that when we go to Kingston, it's an overnight situation. Basically, you have to leave out very early in the morning. You reach back home late, right? Then the situation is just not good, and economically, it's a burden on the school for them to take the buses to go. And remember now that almost all the schools have very big teams, so you're looking at one of those big buses to carry the students to Kingston back and forth. And we are bearing a cost to carry our students to, and having them having the same exposure as the other students in Kingston. And it's unfair. Montego Bay, for example, is the tourist mecca. We make money in Montego Bay. Everything is distributed, is sent off to Kingston. We are not benefiting from our resources from our area, and it's unfair to us moving to the future. It's just not right. When we have the truck, then we have to look what it is. See, comets, they're bringing up new meat. New meats will come about, but people don't want to bring new meats and put it on grass surface, and it's not good. When we go to Kingston, we have to buffer in terms of the amount of students that we have to run. When you look at that, some meets are just offering only 3 athletes per event. Then we take a big bus to Kingston. When you go there, it doesn't make any sense. The bus cost is actually the same. If we carry 3 athletes in a bus, it's the same costing we are getting. And it is come back to the schools to spend the money. And it is unfair for us to be spending money like that, because almost the Kingston schools, they don't spend the amount of money we do when it comes on to put on to send our students them to Kingston. And it is costing us, and it's unfair for us to be sending to be sent to Kingston because we don't have the facility.
Yes, sports tracker. So you heard the voice note. You heard everything that the coach had to say. And I must at this time say I couldn't agree more with every single thing that coach had to say. I agree wholeheartedly with all the utterances of this coach. Sports trackers, because when I think about it, I'm not sure if everybody out there is familiar with the qualification standards that high school students have to meet before qualifying for champs. Since 2022, I think, or thereabout, you can correct me if I'm wrong. ISSA came out with some new qualification standards, right? Previously, they had what was known as A qualifying standard and B qualifying standard. And any student meeting these standards set by ISSA would basically know that they have qualified for champs, and the coach and the schools could enter these students once they run the qualifying times, whether it was an A time or a B time. Then the coach and the school could basically register the athlete for champs. But since 2022, I think ISSA came out with some new qualification standards. So they are no longer using qualification times again, but they are rather using positions, right? So for the sprints, for example, they are now using the top two from the regional meets. That is Eastern champs, Western champs, Central champs, and corporate area champs. The top two and the next best 48 times, right? And for the middle distance races, so they are using the top 48 for the 800 meter class 3 girls. They are using the top 32 for the 800 meter class 2 girls, the top 24, and so on and so forth. So they are using positions now rather than, well, it's not so much positions, yes, but they are using the top times from the regional meets and the other qualifying meets that are taking place across the country. What it means then is that, champs will see better quality athletes, right? Because only the best athletes will make it to champs, right? But what it also means is that to qualify for champs is far more difficult, especially for some schools. So some schools will not be able to make it in the top 48, for example, and hence they will not get a chance to perform at champs. So when you think about the fact that the schools in Western Jamaica, as coach rightly pointed out, most of them attend the meets in and around Western Jamaica, which are mainly grass track. They have to compete on grass surface. So basically, when you compete on grass surface, as coach said, the time is far less impressive. The times are not as fast as those athletes that are competing on the chevron or the synthetic surface. You understand? So basically, qualification for schools in Western Jamaica that cannot afford to make it to the urban areas, are those urban meets, becomes far more difficult. So it raises the question, there is a facility in Western Jamaica, the Catherine Hall Sports Complex, that has been in need of repair for close to a decade now. And for some reason, the authorities have turned a blind eye to this facility. And then now, people are now questioning the quality of the athletes that are coming from the Western region. I think it is a disgrace, to say the least, that the authorities do not see it fit to ensure that there's equity, to ensure that there's equal opportunities for all students across Jamaica. Because for Western schools to travel to the urban area, it is very expensive, and, for people to just neglect the stadium that could prove very, very invaluable to schools in Western Jamaica. I think it is a shame, and it is a big disgrace. It is a national issue as far as I'm concerned. Because when you think about the fact that persons like Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, came out of Western Jamaica. You have Dexter Lee. You have Michael Frater, he went to a school in the urban area, but he's from Western Jamaica. You have Veronica Campbell-Brown. Some of the fastest people, some of the persons who would have represented Jamaica and represented Jamaica well, all came from Western Jamaica. And to think that there's one single facility, the Catherine Hall Sports Complex, that needs attention for over a decade now. The track needs resurfacing, right? The track has been in a deplorable condition for close to a decade now. So you can't run on the track because it will result in injuries. And as the coach said, if the facility is repaired, then you will find that more persons will, put on track meets, will invest their monies in track meets in Western Jamaica, and the schools in Western Jamaica could get a chance to compete on a synthetic surface. And as a result, you would see faster times coming out of Western Jamaica. So I think it is an issue that needs the attention of the relevant authorities. And I really hope that, this message reaches to the relevant stakeholders and they can finally put some thought into, repairing the track, so that Western Jamaica can see some amount of improvements in terms of the times that are produced. And the students that are from schools in Western Jamaica will get a fair chance in qualifying for boys and girls champs. So that is my take on the issues, sports trackers. Please let me know what you think about this particular issue in the comment section. Blessings.